Welcome to this College Soccer Guy podcast. I'm the College Soccer Guy and I'm helping play college soccer. Let's get into it. So today's topic is sending full game video. Why do you need to know this and how do you know when to send full game video? So in the last episode, we talked about the email templates and I went into almost every single kind, but I skipped this one, or I should say I waited to talk to you about this one because it's a little bit nuanced. So at some point in this recruiting process, the coaches are going to start responding to you. Now, I pretty much know what all of them are going to say because I've sent over 500,000 emails and received over 500,000 emails over the period of time, me doing it personally as well alongside with my students. And at some point, they're going to ask you for more video. And they're either going to use the word full game or they're going to say we need more video. So let's just take the example of full game. They're going to literally ask you, we need a full game video. Now, if you are a beginner to this recruiting process, you'll be like, okay, I'll send them a full game. And you send them VO, right? Or Huddle or Trace. I love Trace, by the way. And you go, Trace is the best one. If you go, hey, I want them to see the video and just send it to them. The coaches don't know which one you are, can barely tell who you are, don't know what side of the field you are on. They don't want to really watch 90 minutes of barely knowing which player you are. Okay, they're not going to watch it. And even if they do watch it, they're going to be like, I can't even tell which one this is. So then you're like, okay, Zev, I already knew that. Of course, I gave him my number. Oh my gosh, we may not know which color your team is in, which way you're going, and which, jersey number you are until you turn your back. So now we've missed the first 15 minutes just trying to look for you. Okay, college coaches don't have that time, and I'm telling you right now, they do not want to waste all that time. So guess what the secret is? I'm going to tell you. So what you're going to do is when they ask for a full game video, you're going to make what we call timestamps. So you're going to go on Huddle, Trace. Trace actually automatically does this for you, but we'll get into that later. If you do VO or Huddle or Trace, what you're going to do is you're going to write down every single touch you take on a Google document, and you are going to write a description of what you did. Now, it's very important when you write this description, do not say anything about being good or bad. Just give the facts. Don't be like, this was a great tackle. It just sounds weird for you to think it's a great tackle. You're a nobody. College coaches are the experts. That's how you have to kind of think. Even if you are an expert of soccer, that's not what you're going to do. So what I want you to do is you're going to send a full game timestamp. So on that full game timestamp, for example, we had one of our students, he later committed to St. Thomas, a Division I school, and got a $124,000 scholarship, which is amazing, partially academic, and that's part of our job. We want to find you the right school for you, and the scholarship's a part of it, and who cares if it's athletic or academic. In saying that, he had to send a lot of full game videos because of his unique situation. So what we would do is he would write out tackle, minute 321, cross, minute 342, goal. And if it was a goal or an assist, we would put it in bold. So that way the coaches could skip to it. So now the coaches don't really have to know what jersey number you are. They don't always need to know what color you are, although you should specify that, because theoretically you're going to be the one on the ball when that timestamp comes. So now you've made these coaches' jobs so much easier. And I can tell you, as somebody myself who has recruited players, it's really helpful to be able to rewind like 5 to 20 seconds before the play to get to know you as a player. So this is also why we have something called Every Touch videos. We'll get into that in the highlight video podcast. But in this one, the full game videos with the timestamps is just so important that you put the timestamp and the description, and that's it. Now, when you send this to the coaches in the email, the perfect scenario is you would email them, dear coach, here's the full game video you requested. You're going to tell them I have time-stamped it, as well as given a miniature description of each play I did, period. Then you're going to hyperlink the video itself. So ideally you wouldn't give the VO link, you would call hyperlink it, which is where you double click on it, and then you'll change it to Bellamy's highlight, full game highlight, or just say full game time-stamped video. And that link would be the game. And then underneath it, you're going to put the timestamps. That's option number one. Option number two is you do the exact same thing, but instead of hyperlinking the game, you would hyperlink it to a Google document. And they'll click on that. It will take them to the Google document, and the Google document will have a link of the video, and then it will have a separate page with all the timestamps. It just depends because, in an email, it's a lot of timestamps, and it can you have to scroll all the way down. Sometimes it's easier to put in a different document. Also, it's good for you to have in your notes because you're going to send this, remember, to a lot of different schools. For simplicity purposes, I have them put it directly into the email and have them give a Google document in case they want it. So we're just trying to make the coaches' lives easier. Remember, no different at least in my life, like I don't love taking my vitamins, but I do it every day. And the way I've made myself do it is I've made it easy. The pills are already out of the bottle. They're already sitting on my counter each day. That makes it much more likely to grab it and drink it because it's just easier. I don't have to do anything. I just have to grab it and drink it. These coaches are the same. If you make their lives easier, they're way more likely to watch your video. If they have to click a link and then it doesn't give them permission and they can't open the document, they're not going to request permission from you. They'll be like, screw it, I'm over this. Next person. They have too many people to go through. So just know you need to, starting your freshman year, every single year, you need to have 2 to 3 full games that you feel comfortable sending to college coaches. And a lot of my students, at the very beginning of working with them, they're very concerned about sending a video, right? Because they're afraid that upon seeing the video, the coach won't like them, and they're not sure which game they played the best in. Okay, that's my job. So if you share the video with me, I can literally tell you, hey, I watched, I looked through the timestamps of these games. This is the video you should send to this school, and this is the video you should send to this other school because they play a back 3, and that school plays a back 4, and in this game you're playing it as a wing back, and I think that school would prefer you. So that's how nuanced I get to be if you work with me. So you can give me a call, links in the bio. But otherwise, make sure you set up the timestamps and you have 2 to 3 per year. I mean freshman year as well. And I want you to also have it sophomore year and junior year, because if you start freshman year, first of all, the coaches can see your progression, which progression is really important for coaches because they also need to know you're going to progress from your freshman year to your senior year of college. And if they can see that you did that in high school, they'll believe that you're a hard worker and do it. If you just show them 1 year's worth of video from junior year, they're going to be like, well, that's just his junior year. I need to see not just the tip of the iceberg. I want to see the freaking glaciers underneath. You've seen that image before where it's like success, and then they show somebody on top of the glacier, but then on the bottom of the glacier is like, underwater, and it's like miserable and cold, but then they get to the top and they're happy. They want to see the miserable part. So they want to see you progress. They want to see you mess up, and then over time they want to see you get better and better and better, and then voila, you get recruited. So in saying that, the kids, your students, or if you're a student listening to this, you're like, I don't know which game to send. And you're right, you don't want to send a game that should not be sent. If you send a bad game, the coaches will judge you on that. So you do need to make sure it's a good game, which of course I can help you with. But also, you do need to say to yourself, hey, I played well in this game and I need to send it. Because if you don't send it, you will also not be recruited. And there's a saying in the grown-up world, if you keep your money under your mattress, you're going to lose money because of interest rates. So similarly, if you just hold your full game video, it will lose value. You have to use it. Even if you put it in the stock market and you lose money, eventually over time you will make money. Theoretically, that's not for me to decide. My brother has a financial podcast. You could talk to him about it. But in this world, if you just keep your full game video and you never show anybody, eventually they're going to be like, well, how come he doesn't have she doesn't have a full game video? They must not be good. I'm not going to recruit them. So you need to find one. And it could take a long time. It could take 15 games for you to find one where you're like, hey, this is a good one to send to coaches. On top of the fact, it needs to be against a good team. It needs to be a game where you played really well, where you ideally started and played 60 to 70 minutes. You don't always have to play 90 minutes. It's okay if you played 2 full game videos at 60 minutes is enough. But starting is important. Or if you come off the bench, what minute do you come off the bench? Because why are you off the bench? Why are you not starting? So it can take a while to get to that full game video where the coach is happy and you're confident sending that. So please, 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 you work on that process. Okay, now you've sent this full game video. You've sent multiple of them, and I'm just going to give you a tip. Washington and Lee, if any of you are being recruited by them, they request that not only do you send them a full game timestamp video, but that the whole game you have a circle on you throughout the entire game, or you make it easy for them to know who you are. And so what we do is in my editors, because I'll edit it or my editors will edit it, and they'll put a full circle on there for you, or you can do it yourself. Or you can just write the timestamps. But Washington and Lee are going to ask for 2 full games. Literally, the second email you get from them, if they like you and respond to you, they're going to send you to their website, and their website's going to say, please send us 2 full games against strong opponents, ideally at the ECNL level. That's literally what the email says. So you need to be able to have that prepared. So when I work with my students, we're doing all this stuff in the first month. We haven't even talked about the highlight video yet if you're listening to this in order. And one of the things I tell them in the very first call I have with them, I go, start thinking about the full game videos because they're going to ask us for it. And I don't want us to be scrambling for one because once they ask for one, I don't want us to be like, oh, well, I have to play in a couple games and give it to them. No, I want to already have the full game video so that way when they ask for it, we can send it to them. Okay, that's how you deal with full game requests. if you want more help, give me a call. Links in the bottom or in the above. And I hope to talk to you soon.